So here is a new strategy that you can make money with. So I'm going to show you right away how to do it. So here in front of me is the GBP USD, and I can see the market here broke to the downside. We are below the 200 EMA. So what I want to see is the first retest of the 200 EMA, meaning in my case here this green line. So once I see this, I'm looking for my setup. So I'm letting here the market run and let's see what happens. If I can find a retest, even though we broke here far to the downside, I still want to see a retest of the 200 EMA area. So just let the market run. So here now the market is retesting the 200 EMA area the first time right after my cross here. So now I'm looking for kind of a bearish sign because we might still here break out and go to the upside, but here this was my last kind of structure, so we are still here within this area. So here the market now breaking above the 200 EMA, so looking for a retracement here. If I let the market run, here my first break below the 200 EMA, this fully engulfing candlestick. So let's see if I can find another one. So if I zoom in here, so here kind of a second one, not fully closed, looking for it. So here one fully closed. Here's something like a double top. Here somewhere might be my trend line. So now I'm looking here for the market to break further to the downside. Here now didn't break the 50 EMA completely. So now here trying to break. Here coming back to a retest. So now here I might enter going to the lower time frames right around here with my entry point now here within this wick or below this one, and my stop loss slightly above this wick. So now if I go to the 1 minute chart, so here on the 1 minute chart I can see here this trend line being formed. Here was the break and here kind of the retest came. So if I let the market run now, I can see here this trend line, now this break below the 50 EMA. So here I might enter and then target the downside. So now going back to the 3 minute chart. So now you're back at the 3 minute chart. Here is my entry. My target is here the previous low. So if I now let the market run, let's see what happens here. So here actually the market here hit my previous or my first target here already the first time, here the second time. So this was the quick trade. Now another example right here. So here in front of me is the CAD, Japanese yen again. The market here broke below the 200 EMA. Here is my cross right here. So I'm looking here for a retest. So I'm letting the market run. Here my first retest right here at this wick. Here is my cross at this candlestick. Here my first break, fully engulfing candlestick at the bottom fully closed, and here breaking the 50 EMA. So I'm looking now here for kind of a second one. Let's see what the market does here. So here now my second candlestick fully engulfing, here would be my entry point, but I might still wait for the market to retrace a bit. So if I go now down to the 1 minute chart, so here was my close on the 3 minute chart with this candlestick right here, and then here I might see a trend line and a bearish flag being formed within a retracement. So if I let the market run right here, I can see here now the market pulling back. Somewhere around here is my third touch, so I might here enter right away with my stop loss again. Here on the 3 minute chart was this area right here. So here the market coming back up, then breaking again on the 1 minute chart. Here kind of a trend line might be formed here. This could be my third touch. So let's go back to the 3 minute chart. So here on the 3 minute chart again, this was my entry. The market retraced slightly. Here another fully engulfing candlestick, and then after this the market came to retest my area. Here is my stop loss. I target at least a 1 to 2 or even further to the downside. Let's see what my target here might be. So this area here, my first target, then maybe even lower, depending what I can find on the bigger time frames. So let's just see what the market does. So here my first target kind of getting hit right around here with 1 to 8.5, not that big, but if you let the market run, here we can see the market continues to the downside. So I would here probably let the market run for a better take profit. So here now I'm on the 50-minute chart. Here was my entry on the 3-minute chart. If I zoom out a bit, because if I'm on the small time frames, I want to check the bigger time frames as well to see whether the market would go further to the downside. Here might be some kind of a 3-strike trend line right around here, this area. Then at the same time here my targets are probably after this structure break, here this one. So I might target here this area. So if I zoom back in and here let the market run, I can see the market coming lower. So this might be here my take profit with a 1 to 5 risk reward. Let's see whether the market will hit it or not. So here hit right away, right here. So this is another example. So I'm going to show you now an example that I don't want to take. So here again, market break below the 200 EMA. Now looking for my retest. Let's see what the market does here. So here we didn't fully reach the 200 EMA, but came pretty close. So let's see what's happened. So now here reaching my 200 EMA. Let's see if I can find here an entry. So here my first bearish engulfing candlestick. This one didn't fully close, but it was pretty bearish. So let's see if I can see another one. So now a second one doesn't really appear. And we are breaking now this engulfing candlestick going to the upside. Here this could have worked out, but we closed above the 50 EMA. Let's see, maybe I will find a second one. So now we are kind of retesting the 200 EMA a second time, so I don't really want this to happen. So now it's kind of a second retest after the break. So it might still work out, but preferably not something that I'm looking out for. Let's see if I draw my trend line right here. This here would be pretty close to my 1 strike 2 3, but here suddenly the difference a little bit different. So let's say the market here continues to the downside. Here again my first engulfing candlestick now. Let's see if my second one. So a second one doesn't really appear. So now here pretty late. I might enter here, but here also my stop loss is kind of a little bit big. Here this huge space between the first and second one, also not my first option that I would take, but let's see for the sake of the video. My target would be here. Here this low right here. Let's see what the market does, going down, going down, going. So here, getting stopped out of my trade. So this is why here, this is kind of the second touch, not really a trade to take. Now another example. Now keep in mind, this strategy works on every time frame, so you can make really a lot of money with it. So now here I'm on the 5-minute chart, and here again, cross between the 250 EMA. Now looking for my retest here. So the market here now breaking structure after structure. Here kind of a bearish flag. Then here this fully engulfing candlestick breaking. Here one as well. Breaking here this whole structure right around here. So let's see whether we can see a retest around here. So I have here my retest, now looking for my bearish candlesticks. So we also retested right around this area, my pretty engulfing candlestick, which broke the structure after this bearish here flag. So let's see what the market does. After the retest right around here. So here now the market going further to the downside. Here kind of a huge candlestick breaking, not fully engulfing, but let's see what happens. Here now the retest, here kind of a double top, here a second break, kind of a break below the 200 EMA, and here the MACD turning red and the RSI below the 50, so I might use this candlestick, since this is also the retest of this candlestick right here. Here is my first kind of retest, here my second and third one, which is another setup I show in a different video, which I will post somewhere around here. So this might be my first candlestick, now looking for a second one. So here this one is coming pretty close to the 50 EMA. So I might enter here, not quite sure whether this will work out, but at the same time, what I want to see now, since this is a double top and here the divergence on the RSI and the MACD, looking here for a trend line. So I might enter here once the market pulls slower and then sees a pullback. So now we're going, so here is now a fully engulfing candlestick right here. We are far away, so if we pull back, I'm going to enter right around here. So here the market pulled back, and even though we came close to the stop loss, I would now enter my trade, since here somewhere I might still see a trend line. So here is now a second candlestick closing below the 50 EMA. So here with this retest, I would have entered here. Let's see if I can enter a second trade after this candlestick right here, stop loss above here. So a second trade to adjust or to add to my first trade. So let's see what happens here. So my first target would be around here. Since this one is pretty small, I would probably go lower. So here kind of a structure break, probably some news in the market, but here somewhere I would take my profits, which in this case I got a little bit lucky, but still the setup here wasn't too bad. Not the best one, but here still would have worked out in this case. So the first two entries would have worked out, the third one was a failure, and this one here might not have been the best setup, but still somehow here we saw two bearish candlesticks here, and we saw the retest of this area. So this was an example that could work out, might not.